What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy, Faithful to God. For quite some time now, the ISUPK, along with other Camp Hebrew Israelite groups, have been putting forward the false claim that the Puerto Rican artifacts, known as the Father Nazario Stones, somehow have Hebrew on them, and supposedly prove that the Native American groups on the island of Puerto Rico are somehow the 10 lost tribes of Israel. The reality is, the Father Nazario Stones do not have Hebrew on them. San Miguel, who is not a Christian and yet has contributed meaningfully to these conversations, has created a video that debunks that claim. Now, for the record, this channel does not endorse San Miguel's viewpoints against the Bible, but I do believe that this video will serve as a very good tool for those who encounter these arguments online from other Hebrew Israelites that try to promote these false claims. So here is the video for your enjoyment. I hope you find it edifying.
Question is specifically regarding the Father Nazario collection in Puerto Rico.
Okay, what's specifically your question concerning Padre Nazario?
Okay, I want to know if there's like a reference, how I can read about how this has been authenticated as Hebrew.
I mean, offhand, I can't directly. I mean, here's what you could do, right? Email Cross the Line Radio, and then I could send you some information on it. I got some articles that I've saved up, as well as there's a brother, I think his name is Yawasab, who did a direct interview with the brother. He traveled over to Puerto Rico. You'll be able to check that out. I think he did a whole documentary too.
The type of writing that is presented here, he thinks it's not Hebrew, it's not Phoenician. Based on his expertise, he could not say that the stones were, presented Hebrew writing.
I'll reach out, even see, you know what I'm saying, what he's doing with the documentary. I'll send you all the information on it. So just hit Cross the Line Radio, and then I'll be able to send you over some things. You know what I'm saying? This way I don't gotta, dig it up right now and then do the whole breakdown, and it takes up half the show. So I'll send you some stuff. Right.
Okay, because I was trying to contact that Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos. He's in that University of Utuado out there. Because according to the most recent research on this, they're saying that it's actually not Hebrew.
I mean, listen, I hear you, but when that joint was directly translated, it had the names of the 10 lost tribes on it in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? As well as a handful of other references, you know what I'm saying, back to lands inside of Israel. So I don't know what more you want.
All I want is a professional reference, any reference to what this guy's talking about. And you can see that he's getting defensive already.
Well, I mean, is there an epigrapher that you can reference? Because the most recent guy, Christian Rolston, he's saying it's not Hebrew. So, and even the guy that's studying now, Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos, who you said they did an interview with, I think. Yeah, that he's saying it's not Hebrew either.
Okay, that's fine. He's not a Hebrew scholar either.
So peep how he's trying to discredit the man actually studying these things, who's Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos. Regardless, I had just previously mentioned Christopher A. Ralston, who is a Hebrew scholar.
He's not a Hebrew scholar either, but like I said, I told you I'll send you some information. So if you want to send me your email, then I could send you some information.
Okay. No, I'm saying because I know you said you did thorough research on it. So, I mean, the people that are actually dealing with this are saying the opposite.
I just told you that I did do thorough research on it. And as a result, I even said that I was willing to share with you the research I did on it directly.
See, I'm just trying to get these guys to acknowledge the actual people doing the research and what they have to say. Why would anybody care about what this guy has to say about the Padre Nazario Stones? He's never looked at them. He has no expertise in these things. So it doesn't matter what he has to say. We have to go to the people that are actually researching these things, that have looked at these things using forensic studies, epigraphy.
You know what I'm saying? But it
Right,
sounds
right,
like
right.
what it really sounds like is you want to be a contentious asshole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're starting to jog my memory as to who this is. Like, you're the same cat who calls up every 3 weeks about Ezra's and whatnot, because you just want to deny the Northern Kingdom. And if that's the case, that's fine. And even for argument's sake, right? Like hypothetical, let's say the stones are in Hebrew. Let's say they were a forgery. There's still countless amounts of other artifacts. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, even if
Yeah.
I played your game and decided to just remove this artifact, it still wouldn't
Right.
even negate the amount of references that you have. You know what? Hold on. Let me see what I have right in front of me, because I actually might have some of this here. Hold on. Might have
Right.
it right on here. Bear with me. Let's see something.
I mean, if it's not Hebrew, I'm saying you guys are calling yourselves, you know, leaders of the Lord, and now you're referencing something that's false. So that would be very important.
Yeah,
to
no,
know.
it
I
actually,
understand you have a lot of other references.
it actually wouldn't.
That doesn't make any sense, because if you want to admit that you got this wrong, it would be important for you to address it, because this is the ISUPK, which claims to be the home of the truth.
So we have the 100% unadulterated truth.
Right.
Period.
If you prove us wrong, right? That means if you prove one thing wrong, all of it's wrong. That's what I believe. If one thing is wrong, all of it is wrong. So if you prove to your audience that we're wrong, then people shouldn't listen to us.
And they claim to have 100% unadulterated truth. So now we're finding out that what you're claiming to be Hebrew is actually not. So why would that not be important? That doesn't make any sense.
Because the information that I
understand that you have a
have
lot of
is
other
directing it
references, but if you're
towards.
saying this is
here's
Hebrew,
here's
it's
what
kind of
really
misleading.
here's what really happens, right? I'm
little
going to tell you what
misleading.
has to happen. See, you just disagree. So you need to try to find some hypocrisy within us, because you probably see us and you're probably like, damn, these cats go hard. They've been around since 1969. And you look at us and you look at yourself and you measure yourself and you constantly come up lacking. So as a result, you need to find a way so that this way you can disprove us, so that you can feel like a man, so that you can feel like you know something, and it just never happens. You get what I'm saying?
So if you dealt with Hebrew Israelites before, you know that they constantly use this form of debating, whereas they attribute a motive or an intent that you have by assuming some bad intent or bad motive. And it reminds me of a quote that Thomas Sowell said, where he says, "It's amazing how many people think that they can answer an argument by attributing bad motives to those who disagree with them. Using this kind of reasoning, you can believe or not believe anything about anything without having to bother to deal with facts or logic." So he's not directly addressing the argument, which is that these experts, the archaeologists, the epigrapher, have come to conclusions that this is not Hebrew. And you're ignoring that, saying that, no, I've done my own research and it is.
You get what I'm saying? So once again, like, since you want to be a contentious asshole, I'm gonna move on to other callers. You know what I'm saying? And then,
Of course.
and then here's what we can do.
I wanted to gain expertise from people that didn't have any involvement in terms of whatever they thought about Columbus, or any religious involvement, thinking about the lost tribes or whatever. And eventually, I brought in somebody that looked at the inscriptions. And I selected this epigrapher, who are the people that study ancient inscriptions. I wanted to work with this epigrapher because he's an expert detecting forgeries of ancient writing, and also because he's an expert. He knows how to read ancient Hebrew, he knows how to read Phoenician, he knows how to read many of the languages that could be either attributed directly or indirectly to people that might be related to lost tribes of Israel, for instance. Right. So what the epigrapher concluded, his name is Chris Ralston from George Washington University. He looked at the stones. He spent a week with me here in Puerto Rico, looking at the collection in detail. And he said first that the inscriptions that you see in the stones are ancient, that the inscriptions seem to denote a form of annotation system, but that the type of writing that is presented here, uh, he thinks is not Hebrew, is not Phoenician. Uh, he thinks it's an ancient type of writing that developed locally because of the indigenous people engaged in contact with other people that had an established writing system. That the writing system these stones have is unknown at present. Which culture or cultures engaged with the indigenous people in the island, we still don't know. That's a question we still need to figure out. But he was very straight in his argument that the stones were not associated, that he, based on his expertise, he could not say that the stones were, presented Hebrew writing. He said that there are some symbols, as you can see here, that seem similar to Hebrew signs,
Yes.
but he wasn't, based on the structure of the writing that he sees here, he thinks this is completely different. So we are now trying to figure out which culture or cultures were the ones that might have engaged with the indigenous peoples from the island that led to the development of this system of annotation. So it is like, based on the dates that we have, this seems to be like the oldest system, or one of the oldest, together with the Olmec systems of annotations in the Americas. And so it again shows that the indigenous people of the island and in the Caribbean in general were much more advanced, as my colleague Roberto Perez says, scientifically, than what we have traditionally attributed to them. That there was a deeper knowledge about the space that they were inhabiting, about the celestial space, about nature, and perhaps other sorts of knowledge that we don't have any clue about them, and so for me, like, when you look at this this system is really complex because it has the markings, but then it has these lines in angles, which might have something to do with mathematical coding or something. We are at this point, and I'm sorry to not be more conclusive in my perspective, but at this point, I am just trying to figure out, having at least from myself and my own perspective, I am okay now with saying, as an archaeologist, that I think that many of these stones are ancient, that they are prior to Columbus. I am okay with that, and I go to the end. But I am still working on trying to establish what sort of system is represented, what type of information was being codified
Yes.
in these artifacts. This is not decoration. Like the epigrapher said a couple of things that were really important. He says that these are register lines.
Yes.
So this is what provided orientation to the signs and possibly meaning to the signs.
Yes.
So there was information being coded on this. Well, the epigrapher, who was the person that analyzed the images, the writing on the stones, he said that that this writing developed because there was some contact of the indigenous people of Puerto Rico with other people that had an already established writing system, and that the people from Puerto Rico, after getting contact with that writing system, developed locally their own writing system. You see, so I am not, I at this point, I consider that the stones were made in Puerto Rico, were very likely made by the indigenous people of Puerto Rico, but that they resulted from the contact with people from other area, from where that served as the impetus. The process, the epigrapher said, is called stimulus diffusion. So the contact with these other people stimulated the local development of a writing system. And it's as far as we know, is only present in Puerto Rico. We have not seen any analogous writing system anywhere else.